Right now, as you're watching this video, a Kenyan MP just made more money sitting in one meeting than you'll earn in the next 6 months. And here is the insane part: it's completely legal. Like, they literally wrote those laws to pay themselves millions while you're stuck in traffic wondering how to afford next month's rent. And by the time this video ends, you're going to know exactly how much they are taking from your taxes, where it's going, and why the system is designed to keep you broke while they're getting richer. So stick around, because these numbers are going to make you question everything you thought you knew about how this country actually works. So here's the thing about Kenya. We love to talk about corruption, scandals, NYS, chicken gate dams that were never built. We see politicians get arrested, maybe spend a night at Integrity Center, then they are back in their Land Cruisers by morning. But you know what we don't talk about enough? The perfectly legal stuff. The money that's taken right out of the budget, approved by Parliament, signed off by the system, and deposited straight into the accounts. Let me break this down for you, because the numbers, they're already public. Anyone can find them, but most Kenyans have no idea just how deep this goes. You see, a Kenyan member of parliament, your elected representative, the person who's supposed to be serving you, earns a basic salary of 710,000 shillings per month. Let that sink in for a second. 710,000 per month. That's before we even talk about allowances, before the sitting allowances, before the mileage, before the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. While you're in a matatu stuck on Thika Road wondering how you're going to pay school fees, your MP has already made more than most Kenyans earn in an entire year in just 1 month. But here's where it gets interesting. That 710,000, that's just an appetizer. The real meal, it's in the allowances. You see, Kenyan MPs don't get just a salary. They're getting sitting allowances. Every time Parliament sits, every time there's a committee meeting, every time they show up to do the job they were elected to do, they get paid extra. We are talking about 5,000 shillings per sitting, sometimes even more depending on the committee. But here is the kicker: some of these committees meet multiple times a week. So you do the math. If an MP is on 3 committees and each of the committee meets twice a week, that's 120,000 shillings a month just for showing up. And when we haven't even talked about mileage, every time an MP travels for official business, and I'm using that term loosely, they claim mileage. Doesn't matter if they're using a government vehicle, doesn't matter if fuel is provided, they still claim. We're talking about 20,000 shillings per trip, sometimes even more. Multiply that by the number of trips they take in a month, then there's a car grant. This is where an MP gets elected and they are given 5 million shillings, 5 million tax-free, to buy a car. Now you and I, we have to save for years to afford a premium, maybe even a fielder if you're lucky. These guys, 5 million cash on day one, and every 5 years they get it again. And oh, let's not forget the mortgage. The government, your government, funded by your taxes, give each MP a 10 million shilling car loan and a 20 million shilling mortgage at 3% interest rate. You know what interest rate you're paying for at your bank? 13 to 15%, maybe even 18% if you're not careful. But MPs, they get only 3%. It's like they're living in a different economy, because they actually are. Now add it all up: basic salary, sitting allowances, mileage, car grant, mortgage benefits. You're looking at an average of 9.8 million shillings per year per MP. And Kenya has 349 members of parliament. That's 290 elected MPs and 47 women reps plus 12 nominated. Do the math. That's over 3.4 billion shillings an year just in salaries and allowances, not counting the CDF, not counting overseas trip, not counting the mileage they travel around abroad. Just this is the basic: 3.4 billion shillings, while hospitals don't have gloves, while teachers are on strike, while university students are being sent home because help delayed their loans. 3.4 billion. And here's the part that should make you furious: it's all legal. Every single shilling. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the SRC, they set these figures, Parliament approves them, and the money flows. No one goes to jail, no one gets impeached, because technically they are not stealing, they're just taking what the system allows them to take. You want to know the really sick part? When Kenyans complain, when civil society pushes back, when the SRC tries to cut their pays, what do MPs do? They fight back. They reject the cuts. They argue that they need the money to serve the constituents, to run their offices, to stay connected to the people. Meanwhile, the people they are supposed to be serving are choosing between rent and food. I remember Moses Kuria, back when he was Gatondo South MP, openly said that MP salaries should be even higher. He argued that 710,000 shillings wasn't enough. Not enough? While the minimum wage in Kenya is around 13,000 Kenya shillings a month. He said MPs deserve more because of the work they do, the pressure they face, the expectation, and you know what? He wasn't alone. Most MPs publicly or privately agree with him. Or look at Babu Owino. Love him or hate him, he's been very open about the perks, the allowances, the system. He even joked about it on social media because to them it's normal. It's just how things work. The system isn't broken, it's working exactly as intended. But let's zoom out for a second. Let's talk about what this really means. Kenya's budget for 2024-2025 fiscal year is about 3.9 trillion shillings. Sounds like a lot, right? But here's the problem. A huge chunk of that, we are talking over 1 trillion shillings, goes to recurrent expenditure, salaries, allowances, perks for government officials. Meanwhile, development, infrastructure, healthcare, education, those get the leftovers. And the worst part, we are the ones paying for it. Every time you buy something and pay VAT, every time your employer deducts payee from your salary, that money is going to fund a system that's designed to benefit the people at the top while the rest of us fight over scraps. You know what's really messed up? MPs also control the Constituency Development Fund, the CDF. That's taxpayers' money allotted to each constituency, supposedly for development projects, roads, schools, water. Each MP controls millions of shillings through CDF. Let me give you a comparison that will put this into perspective. A nurse in a public hospital in Kenya earns around 30,000 Kenya shillings to 60,000 Kenya shillings per month. A teacher, 25 to 70,000 Kenya shillings, depending on your experience. A police officer, 40,000 Kenya shillings. These are the people keeping this country running. The people on the front lines, they are earning a fraction, a very tiny fraction of what an MP makes. An MP who might show up to parliament twice a week if you're even lucky. So this is the system. This is how it all works. And the craziest part, it's even legal. Every bit of it. They wrote the rules themselves. They approved the budget. They set their own salaries. And we just watch. So what do? Honestly, I don't know if anything changes. Every election we hear promises. We hear about austerity measures. We hear about cutting waste. And then what happens? The new MPs get sworn in, collect their 5 million car grant, and the cycle continues. But here's what I do know. Knowledge is power. The fact that you're watching this video, the fact that you now know these numbers, that matters, because the system survives on ignorance. It survives on us not paying attention and on us being too busy surviving to ask questions. So ask this question. When your MP comes around during election season with a branded t-shirt and 200 Kenya shillings for your vote, ask them about the 9.8 billion they have been earning every single year. Ask them what they have done with the CDF money. Ask them why they need a 5 million shilling car while the healthcare in your area doesn't even have an ambulance. Hold them accountable, because here's the truth, they work for you, not the other way around. Your taxes pay their salaries, your vote puts them in office, and if they are not serving you, they are just enriching themselves. Then it's time to remind them who they are supposed to answer to. Look, if this video opened your eyes to what's really happening in Kenya, we drop such videos like this every week. Real investigations, real numbers, the stuff they don't want you to be talking about. So if you're tired of being in the dark, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me what you want us to expose next, because trust me, we are just getting started.